Hello and welcome to Stampin' on the Hill. I'm Deb Keyes, and today I have a new fun fold. This is September 24th, 2025, and I have a fun fold. It includes a couple of different techniques, which we're not going to go into today, but I wanted to at least show you the fun fold, and we'll tackle the techniques later. Let me jump down to my hands and let's get a move on. Okay, so I've chosen to the product of the month is this awesome Sunflower 3D folder. So we're going to use this, but I've also chosen to bring in the beautiful butterflies stamp set as well. So we'll get to those. And then I have a piece of Daffodil Delight, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25, like normal. I also have a piece of basic white, which is 8.25 by 5.25. And then I scored it at 2 1/16 and 4 1/8. So, and then I'll zigzag it. So it's going to fold like this. I have also gone ahead and embossed, you can see it with the sunflower folder. I've embossed this one edge already just to save us time. And so this is going to kind of go in here like this, right? Yeah, like that. Okay, but there's more. Hold on. I also have using some stylish shapes. These are the two largest circles of the stylish shapes. I also have prepared this happy birthday. So I did use the happy birthday from the beautiful butterflies, and I cut this out and I stamped this with Versamark and then the white embossing powder. And I heated this up a little bit, all right, to get the embossing powder to shine and solidify. All right, so we're going to use that. And then I've also used a piece of vellum and this and some stays on. And I stamped that in here and I cut it out. Okay, cut that out. And I used some markers then to color a little bit. Okay. That's a technique that this is called the, oh shoot, what's it called? The faux stained glass technique. And we're going to get into that next week, I think, the technique in September. I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get going with this. So first off, we're going to cut a hole in the center. Actually, let's start with Versamark and our butterfly. And I'm going to just probably can't see this all too well, but we're going to go with it anyway. Okay. Kind of see it. All right, once it dries, you should be able to see it a little better. We're going to use the biggest, largest stylish shapes. Let's bring this in a little bit closer here. And we're going to use the number 1 and the number 2 for cutting. Oops, we need a plate. Number 3, cutting plate, and then this. Okay, line this all up, and I want this to be kind of in the center, all right? And I'm just eyeballing it. You don't have to make it perfect. And we've got another number 3 on the top. So we're going to just put a big hole in the center of this, okay? We can use this for something else elsewhere. And then I also cut out a piece. Well, let me show you what I did. I ended up using and coloring with my markers again. I colored in the one sunflower, and I colored it on the side that has the Stampin' Up! Logo. So I flipped it upside down and I used my markers to color in here. And then I ran a piece of white cardstock through there and then cut it out with the next largest die here. Okay, so now I have this. And then I used the largest die again to cut out a center. So I'm going to glue these together, making sure that my glue actually was working today. I know, it always makes me laugh. Okay, so this and this. And then we're going to bring in this. Let's stamp on here first before I wanted to stamp. Let's celebrate, or time to celebrate. And I'm going to stamp that here. So let's just stamp it because we have the stays on out. Let's just stamp it and stays on. Okay. Stays on is sticky too, so that's why you've heard it stick to my, and then we're gonna stick to the card. So anyway, then we're gonna close this back up, add some glue to the back, and then we're going to center this in here, right? I'm gonna give it a little wiggle here. It's a little crooked. All right, so this is gonna go here, and then this, I'm going to adhere to the front of this, okay? So we're going to, here's a little tip for you. Figure out which way you want this. And I kind of want it to go this direction a little bit, and then flip it over. And then you can kind of see that only on this side right here is where we're going to glue, because that's the only place where we can see this fold. Okay, so let's flip that over and glue it down, and then move this out of the way. So now this is how it works. Oops. Apparently we need a little more glue. I think it's because because this has been embossed. So we should just use a little extra glue. I should have thought of that first. I'm gonna twist it just a little bit. All right. Give this a good press here. Okay. So now this will work like this. All right. You can kind of see my little butterflies on here now that it's dried a little bit better. See if I can get it at the right angle where you can see stuff. There you go, a little bit. Yeah, okay. All right, so then I have my butterfly, and I showed you what I did with the butterfly already, but I'm going to, I creased it right here where the body is, because that's what I like to do. And I'm going to add just a little bit of glue. And a lot of times with vellum, you'll want to use like a sponge dauber or something to get the glue so that it doesn't, you can't see through. But because I already have this black body right here, I was not concerned about that. And then we're also going to add a happy birthday. And I want to make sure that I don't adhere it to the pink, okay? Just, oh, maybe that's good. Let's try this again. Let's eye it up and see where we really want it. about right here. So I'm only going to glue from here over. Okay. All right, let's see how this is going. And I've got my wings floating here and a little extra glue. Hold on, I have a solution. I think you can still find these someplace on Amazon, but a little extra glue. This is called an adhesive remover. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these. And I think everybody got one and they last so long that there was no need to keep selling them. So we don't have them anymore, but I think you can probably still get one on the internet someplace or even at one of your local craft stores. Anyway, it helps with the adhesive. Okay. So this is I was going to add a couple little gems too. Let's just do that. These are iridescent pearls. And I'm just going to add one down here and a couple up at the top maybe. There we go. That's kind of cute. And then there's our card. So let's get back to here. I thank you. Hopefully you will try and take this fun fold and run with it. If you do place a $20 order on my online store, I will send you the tutorial for this for free. You also can find the measurements on my blog, and make sure that in order to get my newsletter, you subscribe to that as well. I will include all the links in the description, and I thank you for watching. Until next time, thanks.